Welcome. This is Nimasa this week. My name is Cordelia Obey. Always remember that COVID-19 is still with us, so please be very, very safe. This month is ending, entering a fresh one. A lot of things have happened, albeit in a changed fashion, and is all over the world. So we're doing things differently now, and next month, more things will be happening even in the maritime sector. One of the things that happened recently would be the inauguration of a new governing board for Nimasa. It was a pleasure to have that happen, and we'll be sharing that with you. And also would like to quickly remind you on the program that if you're a ship owner and you're looking at transporting goods that are dangerous, you should let Nimasa know, because it is actually a punishable offense to do that. So make sure you observe all you need to observe, and Nimasa is in the picture. Welcome once again to the program. Please stay with us.
The coronavirus pandemic is real. Nimasa wants us to stay safe so we can stay alive. Observe social distancing, avoid crowded areas, wash your hands regularly with soap or use alcohol-based hand sanitizers, and most importantly, stay at home. Together, we shall win the war against this coronavirus. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa.
The Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, recently inaugurated the governing board of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The board is led by Honorable Asita Asita, and it's made up of 10 members, 4 executive and 6 non-executive members.
The 10-member board has Honorable Asita Asita as chairman, and Dr. Bashir Jamo is the Director General and Chief Executive Officer. Other members include Executive Director Operations Shehu Ahmed, Executive Director Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services Victor Oche, and Executive Director Finance and Administration Chudi Ofodile. Also on the board are Adekola Adefemi, Mohammed Abubakar, Hassan Razak Mahmood, Eyewumi Daniel, and Rear Admiral Ibikunle Taiwo Olaya. They were all present in the conference room of the Ministry of Transportation, where the Honorable Minister Right Honorable Rotimi Chibuike Amechi inaugurated the board. The minister charged them to work as a team to ensure safety and security of the Nigerian maritime domain. Amechi told the new board members that the Deep Blue project was critical to maritime security in Nigeria and the entire West Central Africa region. It disclosed that about 60% of the project's costs had been paid by the federal government.
So it's one project I have vowed that I will not abandon. Despite all the interests, there are too many interests fighting to stop it. Too many. Now this board is charged to go and complete that project. Both the board and the management. That project must be completed. The DG had reported in the past 1 or 2 weeks several attempts, these successful attempts at kidnapping people, and they were kidnapped. This project is geared towards stopping that and saving revenue for the country and for Nimasa. Where we are now is the local content of the project. In fact, the gentlemen have literally supplied almost everything. I don't want what happened to the last one to happen to this.
The minister also noted the need for effective collaboration with the Nigerian Navy to ensure that the Deep Blue project succeeds.
If you see the way that project is divided, it's split into 3 or 4. The land component is the army and the police. The sea component is fully with the Navy. I plead with you so that we don't become agents of those who don't want it to succeed. The reason why they don't want it to succeed, has never been successful, is because huge amount of money is made from the sea illegally. Kidnapping is just one set of it. It's a subset of all the things that are going on. So you have a responsibility to discharge that quickly and discharge it according to law.
The Maritime Security Project, also known as the Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure, aims to comprehensively tackle insecurity on Nigeria's territorial waters and exclusive economic zone up to the Gulf of Guinea. In his remarks, Chairman of the Board, Honorable Asita Asita, who spoke on behalf of his members, thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for the honor bestowed on them. He pledged to work harmoniously with the Nimasa management to deliver the agency's mandate.
With the support of the members of the board, I assure you that we will take the assignments given us very seriously. Let me, on behalf of the board, thank you again for the honor bestowed on us. It's only an irresponsible organization that will play with the security of its economy. If we must trade as a country, we need waterways to be safe. So we want to thank you very much for this opportunity and assure you that we will deliver on the mandate.
Myself and my EDs, we can't achieve this alone. This is a teamwork. Each and every one of us must align and remain together as a team. Let us all live together, start the journey, progress in the journey, and succeed in the journey.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
Now, if you remember on this program, we had shared with you how the IMO is reaching out to the governments of the world to ensure that they have the right things put in place to enable seafarers to do their work properly so they can easily move. Nimasa, in line with that, has come up with guidelines that would help seafarers and dock workers move easily, that is, therefore giving them the status of essential workers. It also means that during this period of curfews and so on, seafarers and dock workers can easily move as long as they identify themselves properly.
In line with the newly endorsed protocols by the International Maritime Organization (IMO), designed to lift barriers to crew changes, the management of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (Nimasa) has designated seafarers and dock workers as essential workers who should be exempted from travel restrictions. The guidelines, newly developed and published by the agency to support essential shipping services in Nigeria, declared dock workers at the country's seaports, terminals and jetties as essential to the national economy and therefore be granted passage between their residences and seaports and terminals and jetties to perform their duties. The Nimasa guidelines also declared seafarers as being on essential duty and as such exempted from the curfew and travel restrictions which may hinder the necessary movement for crew change, and directed companies to provide special and dedicated means of transportation to convey the seafarers, and as such, transport system must be disinfected within the recommended minimum hours. Also contained in the guidelines are the mandatory use of face masks within all terminals and jetties, mandatory temperature check on all staff before access to terminals, and denial of entry to persons who present temperature above 38 degrees Celsius. The Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Yusuf Jamo, said this guideline is part of efforts to curb the spread of the coronavirus pandemic in the shipping sector in Nigeria. We have directed the immediate isolation of any suspected case of COVID-19 infections and promptly reported to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. Employers in the Nigerian maritime sector are responsible for providing adequate protective clothing and protective equipment at no cost to the dock workers. Dr. Jama also declared that playing of games and unnecessary loitering around port premises are hereby prohibited, charging dock labor employers to ensure social distancing of 2 meters maintained between people in the workplace and other public spaces within and around port terminals. The newly published guidelines makes it mandatory for all dock labor employers to develop risk assessments and safety intervention guidelines for all personnel and operations in the areas of vulnerability within their maritime operations that can be affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, including but not limited to cargo handling, access control, and rostering procedures. Dock labor employers to devise methods of ensuring that dock workers absent from their duties for issues relating to COVID-19 were quarantined and compensated for the suspension of earnings they suffer as a consequence. The guidelines also said all dock labor employers shall ensure that all buses deployed during the COVID-19 pandemic shall have a 50% maximum capacity in line with the directives of the federal government, ensure all passengers wear nose masks, provide hand sanitizers for all drivers and passengers to use, have all buses frequently disinfected. The guidelines were in sync with those issued by the United Nations agencies, including the World Health Organization (WHO), International Maritime Organization (IMO), and the International Labour Organization (ILO), as well as the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC).
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
You're watching Nimasa this week. At the beginning of the program, I had mentioned the fact that if you need to transport any good that is deemed to be dangerous, you should let Nimasa know, because it's actually an offense to do that. And guess what? Ignorance will never be accepted as an excuse.
The International Maritime Organization (IMO) mandated the adoption of the International Maritime Dangerous Goods (IMDG) Code in conjunction with the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea (SOLAS) and the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships (MARPOL 7378), in alignment with the MARPOL Annexes 2 being supplemented by the International Code for the Construction and Equipment of Ships Carrying Dangerous Chemicals in Bulk (IBC Code) towards sustainable management of the marine environment. As the designated authority in Nigeria, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (Nimasa), drawing its powers from Section 45, subsection 6A, Part 10 of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Act of 2007, which expressly allows Nimasa to make regulations in conformity with the IMDG Code in Nigeria, hereby requires all stakeholders responsible for the shipment and transportation of dangerous goods on sea to document such goods by completing the relevant sections on this portal. Failure to document these items on this portal is a punishable offense. This is an announcement from the Office of the Registrar of Ships. As we continue to hope for the best in these trying times, when the whole world is battling with COVID-19, we pledge to continue to play our roles even as we adhere to directives from constituted authorities. To minimize physical contacts, please consider the following alternative channels for your inquiries and follow-up action. Email registrarofships@nimasa.gov.ng. Telephone WhatsApp 0702 513 7601, Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
From there, let's move on now to training. And when it comes to that, in the maritime sector, the Maritime Academy in Oron is now becoming one of the best on the continent of Africa. Why? You know, Nimasa is collaborating with this training academy for the maritime sector to churn out the best when it comes to the area of seafaring and more.
These are seafarers during a pass-out parade on the grounds of the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron. Seafarers are trained here, and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, conducts Certificate of Competency exams, popularly called the COC exams. This is the certificate that allows seafarers trained here in Nigeria to work on board international vessels. It's heartwarming to note that MAN Oron, which Nimasa statutorily funds, has witnessed great improvement. The drastic turnaround of the fortunes of the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, from a near-abandoned facility some years ago. Abandoned projects, a lack of maintenance, the classrooms were an eyesore. Both human and infrastructural capital suffered seriously. The management of the institution under Commodore Duja Efedwa has turned things around. It's a new song of an academy Nigeria can be proud of. Smart classroom facilities, conducive learning environment, learning equipment of global standard, and our dear MAN Oron is on the ascendancy. The success story is there for all to see. The rector speaks to Nimasa this week.
A lot of things have changed. For example, there has been attitudinal change in the behavior of the general staff. That is the most critical factor. Initially, they didn't know how many members of staff we had. We had to do biometrics and carried out a thorough staff audit. So from the 804 persons that were assumed to be staff of the academy, we discovered only 690. A lot of leakages have been blocked. The abandoned structures, 95% of them have been recovered, remodeled, and put to use. The quality of training equipment has improved. Quality of lecturers have also improved because we had to poach lecturers and at the same time increased whatever packages they might have. That attracted more to us. Our focus is cadets training for now, because without cadets I won't be rector and there won't be any support staff, so they are the main stream. Before, they were using pamphlets and handouts, produced by lecturers illegally and given to these boys, and they end up with half-baked knowledge. But now, every cadet has enough textbooks bought by the academy and is for free. When they graduate, they go with them. Every cadet now has a laptop. We now have an auditorium where resource persons can come and give lectures. The classrooms are state-of-the-art. So a lot of changes have taken place. Now, because of all this, the major stakeholders worldwide are beginning to recognize the academy and respect the academy once again. The academy has been able to attract UNITA. They have been able to attract the IMO to come. They have been able to attract major stakeholders. We have achieved a lot, and we still hope to cover more grounds as time goes. We are working towards ensuring that these cadets have sea time. We have also reduced the number of cadets we admit. For example, before I became rector, we used to admit about 2,000, between 1,800 and 2,000 cadets per stream, which I found very faulty, And now we just take 200 plus. The maritime industry is not a place where you encourage mediocrity. It's not done.
The coronavirus pandemic is real. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, wants you to stay safe. Observe social distancing by avoiding crowded areas. Cough or sneeze into a curved elbow or into a tissue, which should be disposed of immediately. Wash your hands regularly with soap or use hand sanitizers. And most importantly, stay at home and follow health and safety advice coming from the NCDC and the WHO. Together we will win the war against the coronavirus. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. Nimasa, changing the tide in your favor.
Okay, time to go. Thank you very much for being a part of the program Nimasa this week. You could follow Nimasa on all her social media platforms. We're talking Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. They are all at Nimasa Official. And you could also visit the Nimasa website. But before I leave you, it's time for us to celebrate a man whom stakeholders in this particular industry have truly come to say has done very well for the sector. I'm talking about the Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amechi. He just celebrated his 55th birthday. I will say a very happy birthday to you, sir. Also joining us to do this are stakeholders in the industry who've come to say that yes, he has done well. So join us in celebrating him. Enjoy listening or watching these bits. I'm Cordelia Ube. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Amechi is a person of great executive capacity, passion, great commitment, a patriot who sees Nigeria as one.
The first thing, of course, for me, which I discovered about this minister, Amechi, is that he is a great lover of the art.
His achievements are visible, yet he's so quiet. He fits into any crowd. And that's what leadership is all about.
A determined go-getter.
Somebody who does not micromanage.
An extremely generous person.
He's a simple man.
He is extremely hyperactive. He is too active. I tell him always, calm down a little bit, slow down. You are too fast for all of us.
Very accommodating, very engaging, and very open.